All right, welcome in to the Field of 68s After Dark. It is a Thursday edition, otherwise known as the Big East Party. And we have Steve Prohm, former Iowa State coach. We have Ashton Gibbs, former Pittsburgh guard. And we're going to talk plenty about the Big East. We're going to talk about the Big Ten. Hopefully, we're going to have Travis Steele, the Xavier head coach, come on and join us here in a few minutes. But let's get to it, guys. Let's get to the game of the night, which was clearly Big East against Big Ten, Xavier against Ohio State, a battle of proximity, and a hell of a game. I mean, a really good game. Maybe not the most well-played game, but Ohio State didn't go away, Steve. They found a way, as Chris Holtmann always does, of kind of hanging in there even when they're not having their best game, and they're doing it without Justice Suing, who I think is probably their second most valuable player. But ultimately, it was Xavier at the Cintas Center that hung on in a huge win for Travis Steele.
Yeah, big time win for Travis and his program, but a phenomenal effort by Ohio State, and Chris's team. It's amazing when you heard tonight, it's only the fifth time that those two programs have played each other, especially as close as they are in proximity. But, Ohio State got hit several times, down 9, down 11, 9 at halftime. Michi makes the layup to cut it to 3, 57-54. And then all the pressure went on Xavier. And to their credit, Paul Scruggs, Nunji, and those guys responded and gave Travis and his staff and his program a huge, huge non-conference win tonight.
Ashton, what stood out to you the most about Xavier? And maybe, again, they didn't shoot it that well. They found a way. And obviously, home court advantage. We see now how important it is because a school like a program like Xavier did not have it last year. And tonight, I think it was a difference maker.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I thought the fan base helped Xavier. I thought overall, Paul Scruggs, he didn't play well the entire game. But when it mattered most towards the end of the game, he made plays. And that's what it's all about. You're all Big East, you're all American type performers. They have to step up. And I thought overall, that's what Paul Scruggs did. And that's what led to, the win for Xavier. It was definitely the fan base, but big time players make big time plays. And that's what he did towards the end of the game.
Yeah. And he's a veteran, right? I mean, he's one of those super seniors that they didn't think was going to come back for another year. He did. And again, just fearless. That's the one thing with Paul Scruggs. Yeah. Not the best shooter, but he's absolutely fearless and tough. And when you get Zach Fremantle back, I'll tell you what, I'll put Scruggs and Fremantle up there against any, 1-2 punch in terms of their toughness and what they bring to the table. I saw Fremantle a couple years ago down in Charleston when he was a freshman, and I was just blown away by him. Right away, you could tell. Like he played on the streets, and I think in New York. I think he played at Rucker Park, if I'm not mistaken, Ashton. And he's a guy that he looks like it. So when he gets back, the way he plays, the ferocity, I think that'll help him. And, you got the 1-2 punch. And Steve, I don't know if you could play them together, but Fremantle and Jack Nunji, two pretty good 5-men.
Yeah, and they've got 3 really, but I don't know if you can play them together, and I don't know if Travis wants to play them together. Obviously, I know Hunter's starting at the 4 right now for them. But when I was up there, I went up there in September, and just kind of making rounds through Cincinnati and Dayton. Man, that team, they practiced and they carried themselves with an unbelievable amount of confidence and swagger. And I think you saw that tonight, from the TV, when you're watching on TV. Every time things got tough, Scruggs huddled them up. I didn't see the team get rattled. They missed shots, but every time there was big moments in that game, that team was calm. They were composed. They were together, and that was a big win. And I really look for big things from the Xavier team this year in the Big East and into the tournament.
I'm worried about Ohio State. I am, and I think as highly of Chris Holtmann as probably anybody. Right. I mean, he's done an incredible job since he took over at Butler under adverse circumstances. Never really had a great point guard situation at Butler. Found a way, gets to Ohio State. He's done a terrific job there. And now I just look at their team and I see a star in E.J. Liddell and some other good pieces. But I don't know, again, the biggest thing I look at, Ashton, is point guard play. If you don't have that at a high level, I just feel like there's a ceiling on what you can do. When you watch Ohio State, how concerned are you about their point guard play?
Very concerned. And if you want to get far into the tournament, whether it's conference tournament or NCAA tournament, you need guys that can make plays, especially at the end of the shot clock. And I think that's one of the biggest things that Ohio State, they're missing. You need guards that can make plays not only for themselves but for others, to get guys open shots, to get EJ, open looks around the basket as well, just to make things, a lot easier for guys. So it just makes everything so much tougher on a guy like EJ Liddell when it comes to late shot clock situations when you really need big buckets at the end of the day. So they really need to get that situated, ASAP.
All right. Well, we do have Travis Steele, Xavier head coach, coming on with us on the Field of 68s after dark after a huge win. And Travis, I know this is a big one for you, and this is one that you kind of needed to get some kind of momentum. Can you hear us, Travis?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. How you guys doing?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Probably not as good as you. So, 2 years ago, I'm down there for the crosstown shootout with my daughter, and the atmosphere was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And how does this home court tonight compare to that? And also, just again, from last year, you didn't have this, and you have one of the better home court advantages in the country. How important is that for you, and was it tonight?
Oh, it's huge. You look at, like, when I pulled into work this morning at about 7 a.m., there's a line of students outside of our arena, lining up to get in. And this is a basketball school. Everybody's so passionate about it, right? And it makes Centos one of the hardest places to play in all of college basketball. When you come off a year like COVID-19, right, where there's no fans and you can hear a pin drop, just the momentum swings are so different. It just motivates our guys to get the extra little juice that you need. Jeff, not that you were a player. I know Ashton was. Maybe Ashton can relate to that, but Ashton was a heck of a player. But it helps a lot, man. And then you mentioned the UC game that you were at 2 years ago. Man, I don't know if anything rivals that quite, but it was dang close. I can tell you that. Our student section was incredible tonight.
Did you go buy the students any drinks after this one or no?
No, you know what we may do though, Jeff? I may just go get tomorrow morning, because I got right to film right afterwards, because we got a quick turnaround here. So I may get a little coffee tomorrow morning. It may be a late night for them, so they go to class tomorrow.
Coach, overall, I love, I'm a guard guy. I love Paul Scruggs, big time player. I love his passion for the game on both ends of the court. Talk about his improvement coming into this year.
Yeah, I think his mindset, man, he wasn't happy how things ended last year, right? And COVID-19, he felt like, and we felt like, derailed our season last year kind of late in, because we got hit probably as heavy as any team in the entire country with it. Paul's it's just his will, man. Like, he wills us to win. His defensive intensity, his toughness, the plays that he makes, he takes over down the stretch. He's got that clutch gene. Knowing that we can rely on him at the end of the games to close games out, man, is a huge luxury. You know how it is at the end of games, man. You want to have the best guard on the floor. Night in, night out, we're going to have the best guard on the floor, and Paul.
Travis, congrats, man. Great win, man. Loved watching that. I was telling these guys off air, I got a chance to watch you guys up in September and just thought your team carried themselves with a swagger. And obviously we touched on Paul Scruggs. Jack Nungy was terrific tonight. But the guy I asked you about when I was up there and just familiar with him, following him in high school, Colby Jones. Everybody's got to have a Colby Jones. He gets 12 rebounds for you tonight, 3 assists, made a big 3 in the first half. He's on the ball. He's on the floor for loose balls. Can you just talk about his role and what he brings to your Xavier team?
Yeah, Colby's a phenomenal player. He's a guy that just impacts winning. You think about he's always going to defend one of the other team's best player. whether tonight it was a lot of times EJ Liddell, right? EJ Liddell's a first team All-American level guy, 6'6", 6'7", 240 pounds. I mean, Colby's 6'6", he's more of a guard, but he doesn't really care. And just his toughness level in the defensive end, rebounding. I mean, he's an elite rebounder from the guard position, and he's just so smart. He's just always in the right spots, makes all the right plays. He's a winner. That's what he was in high school. He was really well coached. Interesting fact, he actually played at Mountain Brook High School for Bucky McMillan, who's now the head coach down at Sanford. So he came from a really good program, and he's won his entire life.
Bucky's trying to win right now against Oregon State. They're in a dogfight right now at Sanford.
That does not surprise me. Bucky will get that program going. I can tell you that.
Plays a different style, no doubt.
Yes, he
that.
does.
A little unique. Travis, this win tonight for you guys was important, obviously, to get momentum. But it was also important for your league, which has really come out really strong. Seton Hall getting the win against Michigan, Marquette getting the win against Illinois, Providence at Wisconsin. Your league has really come out strong. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, how much this means for your league to build that resume early in the season as a league so that there are a lot of wins, good resume wins, and they're not bad losses within the league.
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously we went 6-2, I think, in the Gavitt games against the Big Ten, which is obviously Big Ten's a great league. It's a terrific league. But I think the Big East is the best conference in the entire country. And I think that'll bear itself out over here over the non-conference. But like you said, it's so important that we each do our part in the non-conference so that when we get to conference, every one of those games means a lot, right? From the numbers standpoint. It's funny, after every game with the Gavitt games, we have this Big East chat with our coaches, right? And it just starts buzzing nonstop. You're watching all these, because I had a chance to watch the Gavitt games the last few nights leading up to tonight. And, we're all pulling for each other, obviously, man. The camaraderie in our league amongst the coaches is top notch. But we also understand what's at stake, having to do really well in the non-conference.
Travis, obviously great win tonight. But people, may not know you one of your best players is out right now in Fremantle. What's the kind of prognosis on him? When do you see him getting back on the practice floor and possibly getting back into live action?
Yeah, I think Zach will be, he's really progressing well. He's out of the boot. He's able to do some form shooting, some ball handling, some passing. He adds a different dimension to our team. I mean, he does. I mean, he was our leading rebounder, leading scorer from last year. He's a matchup problem. I mean, I think he'll be back full go here. I would say at the very beginning of December. We're hoping December 1, he's good to roll.
Hey, how's Cooley in the group chat, by the way?
Hilarious, just like he always is. Comedian.
I figured of anybody, Cooley's got to be the best one in the group chat.
I would agree with that.
Talking from a coach here, how do you get your guys to respond and get focused now in Norfolk State with a quick turnaround?
Yeah, I told the guys right afterwards, I said, hey, fellas, I'm going to go home and watch our game from tonight, and I'm going to start preparing for Norfolk State. We scheduled them because they're going to be a really good team in their league. They'll have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament just like they did last year. I think it could be a really good opportunity for us, but it's a dangerous game, and we have to be mature. We have to be mature, and we got to move on very quickly. Enjoy this one, but move on. At the starts tonight, though, how we recover. Tomorrow we'll probably go light, but it's going to be a heavy prep day for Norfolk State, which will create a big challenge.
Send that ball screen play where Scruggs got the dunk, man. Nungy, that was a big time screen.
That was a great screen. See, Scruggs is going to get all the love.
Yeah,
Scruggs is going to get all the love.
Screen, man. That was big time screen. Really
screen.
Good. Timed it perfect.
Hey, can you play those two big boys together? Steve and I were asking, and we're like, it's hard these days to play those two together when Fremantle comes back. Will you try it at all?
Absolutely.
You will.
We better figure it out. I'm going to tell you, you saw Jack Nungy obviously tonight. Jack's a phenomenal player. I mean, he had 14 and 14. But we have to figure it out. Bottom line. And I want to play man-to-man. I don't want to play zone. We're a man-to-man defensive team. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well, listen, congrats. Heck of a win. And hopefully we'll be talking to you again soon.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.